think we should start. I'm not gonna steal more time from our KAUST speakers, so I hope you enjoy the webinar, and I leave the floor to Alex.
Thanks, Lucy. I've been watching the numbers go up. I was hoping it would get to 100, but we're at 71, so we're doing pretty well. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. We are in Saudi Arabia broadcasting this today, and we're going to give you a bit of information about KAUST. My name's Alex. I'll introduce Zulma and Rafaela a little bit more formally in a minute. But we did want to know, and we can see there is a lot of diversity here, a lot of Brazil, Colombia, Spain, as Lucy said. We would like to know whereabouts you're joining from. So we do have a poll. If you could select the region where you're coming from. We've focused this webinar specifically on LATAM. You may be from outside of that, that's fine as well. But yeah, we'd love to know where you're joining us from today.
Exactly. So you should see the question pop up on your screen. We are at 84% of our participants that have answered, Alex. The majority as of right now is Brazil. They are more than half our attendees. I'm just going to wait until we reach 100% of the participants, okay? We are almost there.
It's okay. We don't have to reach 100, but it's getting close. Rafael, okay. A lot of your fellow countrymen are on, but Zulma also has quite a few Colombians on as well. So well represented today, and Brazil wins. Awesome. Okay, so let me close this poll. If you want to share the results, Lucy, you can as well. But so today, as I said, we're going to give you a bit of information about KAUST. I'm going to give you a quick intro. Then we're going to go into admissions programs and internships. It'll also cover life at KAUST, some information of what the students get up to directly from Rafaela and Zulma. And of course, I'll be talking about our fellowship, our scholarship that we have available for students that are admitted to KAUST. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is give apologies for Greg. He wasn't able to make it today. He's taking care of some personal business. But my name's Alex. I'm originally from Australia. I moved here just under 4 years ago, and I work in the international office. My job is to speak with prospective students and let everybody know about KAUST. I'll hand it over to Rafaela for a brief intro, and then Zulma will introduce herself real quick.
So thank you for the introduction, Alex. So hi, everyone. My name is Rafaela. I am from Brazil. I have been in KAUST for 2 years and a half, kind of. So I came in 2018 during the last year of my undergrad for a 6-month internship. And I came back in 2019 to do masters. So I did my master's in electrical engineering, and now I'm starting my PhD in bioengineering.
Thanks, Rafaela. Zulma.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zulma Lopez. I am Colombian, and I graduated as electronics engineer from Universidad Nacional de Colombia. I came to KAUST first in 2018 for a 5-month internship, and I liked the experience so much that I applied for the master in electrical and computational engineering. And now here I am, finishing my thesis for my master, and soon I will be starting the PhD also in electrical and computational engineering.
Brilliant. Thank you for the introduction as well. So we know that some people here have heard of KAUST, some haven't. We'd like to launch our second poll now, and that is to ask you, how much do you know about us? Have you heard about us before? Is this the first time? It's always interesting to know the audience we're talking to.
Okay, we have a few answers coming in. A little bit of everything, Alex. Those who know a bit of KAUST, have heard, haven't heard, 7% know KAUST very well. So yeah, the results are all over.
Yeah, we can share this as well. I think with all the polls we can share just to see so our attendees can see what each other know about us. Okay, fantastic. So it's great. It looks like most people are going to learn quite a bit from this session, which is the goal, and we'll get straight into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you a video of KAUST. It's easy for us to talk about it, but obviously when you see something, it's a lot easier to understand the context and the design around what we're talking about. Everything that you see in this video is within the KAUST gated community. So we're quite a big campus, but it also includes a lot of other areas. So I'll play it and then I'll show you an overview.
Discover a place unexpected, a place where the improbable becomes possible, where conventions are challenged and new ideas are born. Discover a place where your capabilities reach new heights, where your ideas converge with others to make a lasting mark, where there is a shared passion for doing things that matter, to change the world through science and innovation. Come to a place where your curiosity can unleash new discoveries, where ideas launch startups and dreams build new technologies, where competition drives collaboration to make lives better. Discover a place for your passion and potential. Discover KAUST.
Okay, so that's a quick video. Hopefully it gave you a bit of perspective. Okay, so KAUST is a relatively new university. It was established in 2009, and we are a STEM-focused graduate level research university. So we only offer master's and PhD programs. We focus on the broad strategic themes of water, food, and energy and the environment. And if you have a look on the right side, you'll see this is an overhead view of our university campus. Residential area. It's quite big. It's 39 square kilometers. It is gated, so the public can't just come in and out. We have over 7,000 residents here now, and they're from over 110 different countries. In terms of a location, if you know where Jeddah is, right on the bottom right of your screen, we're about an hour's drive north of that, right on the Red Sea. So it's a really beautiful place to live, and we feel very privileged to be here. Just some quick facts as well. We have over 1,100 students. As I mentioned, we are very focused on research, and 79% of our students are PhD. 65% of those are international. So we are an international university. All our programs, our research, we communicate in English. We have a really good student to faculty ratio, as you can see, 7:1, one of the best in the world. And as I said, a broad, diverse community made up of a huge amount of nationalities. You'll notice our alumni number is relatively small to a traditional university, but this goes back again to us being relatively young. Okay, so this is a further breakdown of our students, the latest figures. So as I said, the previous slide said 79, it's around 79, 78% PhD students, 22% masters. We have a pretty good female to male ratio in terms of STEM education, which we're really proud of as well. The build up of our nationalities in the student body, 35% are local students from Saudi Arabia. Asia makes up 33%, and that's China, Japan, Taiwan, Korea. North America and South America make up a smaller percentage, and Europe, MENA, and Africa make up the rest. So as you can see, it is a really diverse community. And again, the question always comes up, so I'll say it. We do teach, and everything is communicated in English at KAUST. So although we're young, we do have quite a a big global research impact. A lot of our faculty come from universities all around the world. If you have a look on the right screen, you can see the collaborations we have across the globe are broad. In terms of our rankings, we're ranked #1 in the world for citations per faculty, and this is quite a big achievement. Now we're ranked for the past 4 years consecutively, plus 5 years actually. In the A3 20 under 20, we're ranked #1, and 9% of our faculty are highly cited researchers, which is also quite a large number. So again, KAUST is, or our programs are taught in English. That is our language of instruction. For admissions, we're merit-based. And our degrees, again, are the Masters to PhD, which Zulma is doing, and the PhD, which Rafaela is doing currently. The KAUST Fellowship is probably the most inquired about topic with us. So please listen to this part. If there's one thing you take out of this in terms of scholarship, this is the information you need. There's no separate application for the KAUST Fellowship. Every student that is admitted into KAUST will receive the KAUST Fellowship. And the idea is that you can focus on your research and your studies, and we take away the burden of thinking about finances. Included in the fellowship is all your tuition costs, so you don't have to pay for those. You'll also receive an annual living allowance on top of the tuition, which is around $20,000 US to $30,000 US dollars per year, depending on your degree. All your accommodation will be covered as well, and Rafaela and Zulma may talk a bit about accommodation later. Your medical and dental coverage is also included, and your relocation support is included. Now, relocation support really means your visa, your flights to come out to KAUST. It also includes annual return flights home as well. So the package is quite extensive and generous. And again, the KAUST Fellowship goes to all admitted students. There's no separate application for this. I'll talk quickly about this. We have the 3 degrees, as I said, the master's degree, the PhD degree, and the master's to PhD degree. Rafaela has gone through the master's already, and now is doing her PhD, and Zulma is in her master's to PhD degree. If we have questions on this later, please put it in the Q&A, and Zulma and Rafaela will be able to help you out with those. Now, these are our programs and our research centers. We have research centers that belong under the different academic divisions. KAUST has 3 academic divisions, the Bsrp division, the SEMC division, and the PSE division. So Rafaela is in the Bsrp division now. Zulma belongs to SEMC, the Computer, Electrical, Mathematical Sciences and Engineering. And we also have the Physical Sciences and Engineering division as well. So I think it might be time to launch a poll here, Lucy. Let's find out what areas students are interested in studying.
Okay, here we go. Which program division are you interested in? Let's see.
So you can find the subject area or the discipline area for the division just under the program title on the screen now. Okay,
Most of our attendees have answered. I'm going to share the results, and 47% are interested in physical science and engineering, and then 34 biological and environmental science and engineering, and last but not least, computer, electrical, and mathematical science and engineering.
Brilliant. All right, thanks, Lucy. Okay, so for admissions, what is required? Well, again, we're a postgraduate university offering the programs I've just spoke about. You will need your bachelor's and master's degree, and it does need to be in a relevant field of study. You'll need a statement of purpose and CV, the official university transcripts from all the universities you've attended. So if you've completed a bachelor and a master's degree, we'll need to see both of them. We have an average cumulative GPA of 3.5 out of 4 or equivalent. Now, this one also gets a lot of questions. Your university may not issue a GPA that's out of 4, and that's okay. Our admissions team will automatically convert it. They work with all the countries around the world. They know all the institutions in different countries, and they do have a conversion calculator that they can use. So you don't need to worry about doing the conversion for that. If you're interested in applying, just apply with your results and they'll do all that for you. We do need English language proficiency, unless you're from a select few countries. I think the UK, Australia, Canada, the US, potentially one other. Can't think of it off the top of my head. This was meant to be Greg's slide. They don't require the English language proficiency, but if you are studying from a different country and you're not a native of that country that I've just mentioned, you will need an English language proficiency results. We do also need recommendations. They can't be from your friends or family. They need to be academic or related to your research. We don't require a GRE, but it is strongly recommended. And if you are looking at a PhD, you will be required to present your research experience as well. So all the information can actually be found on our admissions website, which is on the screen right now. We also have a KAUST bot. His name is Hakeem, or her name is Hakeem. It means wisdom in Arabic, and it has a 90% success rate. I think in terms of bots and institutions, we're ranked number 3 for that as well. So have a look at that. If you do have any admissions questions, it does a really good job of answering them for you. And the reason why it does a great job is because the admissions team answer all the questions behind it. So check it out. And that's basically all the information about admissions I can give today. So Zulma and Rafaela both mentioned that they came to KAUST initially doing an internship. We have an internship from the international office called the Visiting Student Research Program. Under normal circumstances, you'd be flown out here, you'd get the benefits you see on screen. But currently, due to border closures, we also are offering a remote option if it works out on the project that you may be interested in. To be eligible for the Bsrp, you need to be a 3rd year bachelor student or higher, and we accept all years of MS students. It's a similar GPA requirement coming into this, but it is flexible. You do require strong verbal and written English skills, although you don't have to have an IELTS test or a TOEFL test for this one. And our internships go for 3 to 6 months. To have a look at all our projects, and we offer over 200 projects from our faculty on this. Just go to the Bsrp website, which you can see on the bottom right of your screen at the moment. If you click on the internship button on the top right of the page, and I'm just recalling this from memory because I don't have it in front of me. If you click down, there will be an option that says projects. You'll be able to see all the projects and you'll be able to sort through all the projects as well. There's also a link for already confirmed remote opportunities, which is an opportunity for you to do the internship where you are. If that is the case, you'll still receive the monthly living allowance, but obviously because you're not on campus, you won't be getting the other benefits. The internships are are a great way for students to tool up, you know, get some mentorship under a professor and get to know the university a bit better. Some students have been published as well as part of the research that they did in the Bsrp or their visiting student program. Zulma or Rafaela, did you guys get published? I can't remember when you did your internship. No?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay, not everybody does, but there certainly are some students that do. And obviously it's going to depend on the project as well and what stage the professor is or the supervisor is in that specific part. Okay. So we're really proud of our alumni. 65% of our alumni go on to be employed, and the other 24% go on to academia. There is a missing percentage here for all you mathematicians. You would have worked that out, but that's because we don't get responses from all of our alumni that we survey. You can see the companies that they go on to work for, and you can see some of the universities that our graduates go on to study PhDs or go on to postdocs with as well. A lot of the connections that the professors at KAUST have to their home institutions is also another big plus for students here, because it does help them connect with institutions that they may be looking to do further study in. Okay, I might hand this over to Rafaela, given that she is a student and she knows about student housing and the services here. Rafaela, would you mind just saying a few words on what you find your accommodation is like, how comfortable is it, and the type of amenities that you use, I guess, on a day-to-day basis?
So when you arrive in KAUST, you're going to be allocated in a house. Usually you are going to share with 1 or 2 housemates, so depend on the house. But other houses, you're going to have your own bedroom. Every bedroom is going to have a bathroom, and then you're going to have common areas such as a living room, a laundry room. The house comes completely equipped, so basically I just had to buy stuff for the kitchen. But yeah, so this is something that you don't have to care about. I'm reading here to check other things. So, yeah, the campus is very close to the areas that we live. So I would say that 90% of the students either go walking or biking for the campus. In the campus area, we have a lot of like coffee place. We have diner where we usually gather for have lunch or dinner. Not localized on the campus, but also next to the supermarket area, we have Starbucks. There is also an area that we use, I mean, not now, right? But we used to gather, we call Discovery Square, where we have restaurants, Burger King, Domino's. Yeah, we also have some areas such as, how we say, the gym clubs, let's say like that. So we have one next to where we live, the majority of the students live, where you're going to have access to gym, snorkeling. So the majority of these activities are for free. So you're not going to pay to access the gym. Something that is also very cool now is that we still have access to activities such as snorkeling, diving, which are very nice because we are very close to the Red Sea, right? So it's like a unique opportunity. So yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, thanks, Rafaela. And I will say as well that students they don't have to stay on campus all the time. So in the next few slides, Rafaela and Zulma will kind of show some of their adventures, a bit of their life in here. But the other thing to note is that if you're thinking about utilities, you know, water, electricity, transport, even maintenance, all of that is also included in your accommodation. So you really don't have any out-of-pocket expenses apart from your groceries and food. But I think the stipend is more than enough to cover all of that, right? Yeah. Okay. The other thing that I mentioned to people that isn't on this slide is that it's pretty surprising. And one thing that surprised me is that we even have a bowling alley here. So students that are looking to have a pizza night or bowling night, they can go there and do some bowling. All right. So the next slide I'm going to pass to Rafaela. She'll walk you through the images on screen. And she's also been kind enough to put her IG handle on here. So if you're interested in seeing kind of Rafaela on a day-to-day, what she's been up to, it's a good place to look as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna start from the top left. So this photo I took in 2019 when I was about to finish my internship. So this is in Albalade. So it's a very historical place that is usually when you arrive in KAUST is one of the first places that you go to visit. Here on the middle top, this is one area. Okay, I'm terrible with geography part, but I think it's to the north of Saudi. Zuma might correct me because she was on this day with me. So it's close to Taif area, so it's a very nice weather, especially, and yeah, very nice view. To the right, if you're a climber, we do have some areas in Saudi Arabia where you can go climb. So here was also, I think, to the north. We went just like for a day climbing with some friends. It was my first time climbing external area. So we also have a climbing wall here in KAUST where I used to practice, but this was my first time going to climb. On the bottom left, so here is me and some of my friends. So I didn't mention that I'm from the Federal University of Rio Grande do Norte, UFRN. So here at the time, they were supposed to come like all the four of us from the same university. So when everyone arrived, we were like, oh yay, happy. So the middle bottom, so I think also 2019, we have a summer internship about fabrication. So I did a lot of these during my master's years. So here it's me and some of the people that were joining my group at the time. So we were in the clean room, just going through the process that I was using at the time. So here was super nice to show people what I was doing. And on the right is one of my last adventures outside of KAUST when I went to the crater. So this is one, I should have put also another picture that shows like actually the crater. But it's a very, very nice place to go camping and to do hiking. So yeah, very cool. So I used to say that people that come to Saudi Arabia, they at some point they become like more like explorers, more activities, like because these are the things that we do the most here. So like camping, climbing, diving. So if you're into these, you should totally explore this place.
Thanks, Rafaela. Okay, Zulma.
Okay, so these are some pictures from the activities that you can enjoy while living in Saudi Arabia. The first was a desert trip. This is a very typical plan that we do here. Just go to a desert, rent some cars and go to a nearby desert, maybe do a barbecue, climb to the dunes and enjoy the sunset and the good company. The second one in the top is it's a picture that we took due to the graduation of one of the PhD students of my lab. So those are only the ladies from my lab. I'm from electrical engineering, but we have pretty diverse and men and female. So this is my advisor and the ladies. They are from China, India, and Russia. So you will have an awesome opportunity to get to know people from different cultures, which is also very enriching. The bottom picture is from 2 years ago. It was an event that KAUST does every year, except because of the COVID, they didn't do it last year, but it happens every year. It's really fun. Every nation would prepare some food to share with everyone. They will dress their typical clothing from their countries, and they will dance traditional dances. It's a very nice event. And the last picture is the Elephant Rock. It is in a closed city called Alula, which is considered as a World Heritage Site. So I went there with some friends to enjoy one weekend. There was supposed to be a balloon event, so you could, like in Cappadocia in Turkey, you would get the opportunity to get the balloon and see like all the landscape. But unfortunately, the wind was too strong on those days, so we couldn't do the balloon activity, but still enjoy the beautiful landscapes that Saudi Arabia can show. And that's it.
Brilliant. So, I mean, like I said before, there's a lot of things to do outside of the campus as well. Students are not stuck on campus only. Okay, so I'm putting Greg in a little bit. I've put his email on. He's the Associate Director of Admissions. My email is at the top, so if you have any questions, you can also email me directly. And then we have the international office email too. But what we're going to do now, rather than you emailing me, since we're live and we have 2 students with us, let's go through our Q&A. Lucy, were you gonna do this, or did you want me to?
Yes, I can do it. We have a few questions in Spanish and Portuguese, so maybe I can moderate it with the girls if we answer those in the language, of course, if they are able to, because I think some here, maybe they don't know the answer to. So I want to remind our attendees that, first of all, the questions, please submit them using the Q&A section, okay, so that we see them. Don't use the chat, use the Q&A section. And I also want to remind you that you will receive a thank you email tomorrow with important information about KAUST, okay? So be watchful of that email in case you want to reach out later on. I want to start, Alex, with a question from Wendell. He wants to know how long does it take to complete a master's or a PhD program?
Okay, fantastic. Rafaela, you've completed your master's. How long did that take you?
It took me about 1.5 years. So usually they say that the program should take around like 3 semesters plus a summer. Yep. But to be honest, especially last year during the whole situation, the majority of people, they just asked like extensions. So this is also possible.
Yep. And for your PhD, how long do you think? I know you've just started, but how long's that road ahead of you?
No pressure, Rafaela, no pressure.
Well, to be honest, in the beginning, my advisor said that she was expecting 3 years, but I'm like, yeah, let's say 3.5.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, they're like Rafaela said, it can vary, but they're basically the broad outline of what you're looking at in terms of duration. I think the other thing that we should mention as well is once you have admittance here, you don't need to search for funding every year. The funding is guaranteed for your program.
Okay. Alex, there are a few questions about the GPA.
Yeah.
We have a question here. Should I submit the GPA of my degree and my master's, or only my master's?
Sorry, Lucy, you're cutting in and out a little bit. Do you want to repeat that or tell me which one?
Yes.
I see it. It's anonymous. Okay. Should I submit? You should. Yeah. If you've completed both your bachelor degree and your master's, we need to see both. So you need to submit both in full. Yep.
Okay. And there is another one from Rafael. He says that he has a 3.0 GPA in his undergrad, and he's doing a stricto sensu master right now. He's wondering if he will be able to apply for the PhD considering his 3.0 GPA.
So Rafaela and Zulma, you might have to explain to me because I've not. What is stricto sensu master? I'm not quite sure. Sorry, Greg was going to answer the admissions question.
Oh, right.
To be honest, even I am a bit confused with these definitions that we have, but I think I don't know if it's just focus on research or if it's the opposite. But I think it's one of them, like it's more focused to. I think someone.
Okay.
Let me take a look at it very quickly.
So, I mean, I think the answer, regardless, I was just interested in what that was. If you're doing your master's now and you score a high GPA in that, generally we look at the most recent qualification.
Can I interrupt you, Alex? Because Rafael, the one that asked the question, he says that he is researching. So it's a master's with research too.
Yeah, no problem. So you can, just because you got a 3 in your undergraduate program, if you do well in your master's, you can still have an opportunity to go into the PhD here. Every application we receive is done on a case-by-case basis, and generally more weight is on that latest score that you have.
Okay, but let me see if I get this right, because Gustavo also wanted to know if the GPA note is a cutoff note.
It's not a cutoff note, but it is a rough guide to the expectation. As you KAUST, one of the things about KAUST is that we can't admit everybody because we do have limited housing and space on our campus. We work to a Caltech model. So although the 3.5 is not a cutoff score, it's meant to act as a guide, but we have had students come in with less than that. All the applications will be assessed on a case-by-case basis. We have a team that literally looks at each application one by one.
Okay, I'm gonna go through some questions to Zulma and Rafaela. Zulma, no sé el nombre, pero te preguntan cuál fue tu promedio ponderado con el que ingresaste a la universidad. So what was her GPA, Alex? They want to know from Zulma.
No, I think we actually have quite a big confidentiality.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
So that's not an appropriate question. I think that, as I said, there's different circumstances for every student, and we take into consideration every student's circumstance and what they're studying as well, and the university. So it wouldn't be fair for Zulma to tell you what her GPA is, because there's a lot of other factors outside of just the GPA that will determine your admission. There's also interviews as well that you'll need to go through.
Right, understood. But I still want to go with girls because there is a very interesting question from them, from Dan. He wants to know if you guys could comment a bit about living in Saudi Arabia. How do you feel? Can you tell us a little bit, Zulma?
Well, I think it is completely up to you how open is your mind to new cultures. It's not about only the culture of Saudi Arabia, but you will be involved in a medium of all different cultures: Chinese culture, Indian culture, Latin American culture, European culture. So it's just up to you how open is your mind to this experience. For me, it has been very, very enriching experience. I have made some Muslim or Saudi friends. They are amazing people. I can tell you that you can really feel how kind are the Arab people. In Latin America, we are very warm people, but here, you know, notice how there's a huge difference in how warm the Arabs can be. Nowadays, the abaya, maybe you guys have seen the long dress that the women should use. The abayas are not mandatory anymore. So you can go out the university using or not using the abaya. That's also up to you. So obviously at the beginning, when I did my internship, it was mandatory. So it will be something new, but still nothing uncomfortable. For me, it has been really nice experience so far.
Rafa, do you agree?
Yes, totally agree with what Zuma said. And also, yeah, just wanted to add that like even before the abaya, for example, was not was mandatory, but in campus we kind of have like some exceptions, like in KAUST. So at the time that abaya was mandatory, so we just needed like to go out. So I would say that like in my day, I'm not affected by being in a Muslim country. So the work that I do is the same that I would do in another university. There is nothing such a like an imposition or something that you have to do by being here. I think the things that you get used to is like we have prayer time, so you're gonna hear like something coming from the mosque. So I think some days like when you realize that you're in a different country. But apart of that, you don't have such a thing that really like impacts you. Yeah, so I think as Zuma said, like they are very, very, very like helpful. They are always like trying to help you as they can. They're all very open to explain like, oh, but why you guys do that? No, we do this because this and that, or maybe, yeah, share like the things that they do or they do not. So yeah, I think that is completely fine.
Thanks, Rafa. Two quick questions, Alex, about when do the applications, when do you answer the application? So when do they know if they have been accepted? How long does it take?
It really depends on the timing of the application. At the moment, our applications, the last deadline was 1st of March, but what we have is we have open applications for a rolling basis. So if we have space in the program, then we'll accept that application as well and look at it. So the first point I want to make is applications are open. We are still accepting students into programs on a rolling basis. But it really depends because we have several interviews that students need to go through. We have faculty interviews as well. So it can take a little bit of time, but obviously we're looking now towards the end of the year in terms of admission. So you could expect a few weeks.
Okay. And what about...
I just want to reiterate one more thing, I guess, on behalf of my colleague that's not here. KAUST receives thousands and thousands and thousands of applications a year, not just from Latin America, but from all around the world. And as I said, the admissions team does look at each application in its own merit, so it can take a little bit of time. But obviously, once you're through and you've done the interviews, it's just a process.
Okay, do you already have a start date for 2022, Alex?
2022. Let me have a quick look. Maybe ask another question, ladies, and I'll see what I can find.
But I think we could say, because this is a very kind of different from the calendar that we have in Brazil, for example. So usually we have one semester like spring starting around the end of January, beginning of February. And we have another semester starting in fall that should be around August. Just because in Brazil is totally different.
Yeah. So I just texted our Greg and he said exactly what Rafaela just said. So 2022, you're still looking around spring, January, and fall late August.
Okay. Okay. But in the meantime, we received a few positive comments from Ecuador saying that it seems very interesting. I would love to be at your university. And also from another attendee, I don't see the name here, but I would like to know more about your culture over there. So that's very good. Thank you, everyone. We have a few questions about the English situation, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is about Cambridge exams. Are they accepted?
I don't think so. Cambridge CA, is this the one from Anna?
From the Cambridge ones, the C1, C2,
Yeah.
proficiency.
I don't think so. I know of the TOEFL and the IELTS, and I know that we are also accepting, because of COVID, both those systems do have now online versions, and that we're accepting them as well.
But they need to be current exams, right? For those who have TOEFLs, they have to retake the exam, right?
Yeah, there is a time limit that they will need to provide them with. But what I can say is, if you are interested in applying, you can apply and just let us know that either you have something booked in or that there will be a test provided to us soon, and you can still put through an application. I will note as well for everybody, applications don't cost any money and they are all done online.
Okay, and since we're talking about application, Lucas is still a little bit wary about status of recommendations. They need to be strictly from professors, or can they be also from previous bosses?
They can be from previous bosses. Obviously, we prefer academic references, but they need to be related in some way to your research or your studies.
Okay, maybe this is something that also Zulma and Rafaela can jump into. How long after you receive your bachelor's do you recommend applying for a master's? Would you wait a couple of years or would you go directly? What do you think?
Maybe if you are just finishing your bachelor, it's a good moment to apply because you have all the knowledge fresh, you are in the mood of studying. So it's a good moment to start. And so the first year of master, you are taking courses and maybe also doing research. So it's useful to have this mood of study, like finishing the bachelor and then starting the master. But also if you have been doing some work in the industry or any company, I mean, it's okay. You will probably get used to the workload of studying. So I think there's no, I mean, I have classmates who have been working in the industry for 5-10 years, and then they decided to start a master, and they are doing pretty good. As well, I have, in my case, I finished my bachelor, I worked 1 year, and then I came to the master. So it was also pretty good. And then people who finished and started right away, and same. So maybe the change can be a little bit difficult at the beginning. That's completely up to you. But any moment, it's okay if you want to do research, if you want to do this kind of work.
I see that Rafaela is nodding, so.
Yeah, I would say the same. Like if you're finishing your undergrad, I would say like, yeah, start application. Like I think I start application on earlier to come in January, and I was still officially finishing my undergrad. So as Zuma said, like you come fresh, the majority of the courses are kind of like, especially if you come from the same background that you're applying, they are kind of like similar, right? They should be like a continuation of what you saw so far. So it is very good that you're gonna have like those knowledge fresh in your mind. But also sometimes like you come from industry, and even though the project is gonna be in research, but it's gonna use the tools that you you already learned it before, right? So it depends on case by case, but if you're finishing bachelor, I would say give it a try applying.
Okay, can you guys tell us? Sorry, Alex,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I just want to say as well, these are just personal opinions, okay? We're not recommending you to do either way. It's just the experience of Zulma and Rafaela. So KAUST doesn't say you should do this or you should do that. It's really up to you as a student to make your own decision as well.
Okay, and you know, Zulma was talking about research. What do you guys think about the labs? Can you tell us a little bit more? How many are there? How many people work over there? Can you tell us more about the labs?
Yeah, actually, one of the things that I would recommend everyone that is watching this today that is interested in the labs, check out our Core Labs website. It's amazing. I guess Rafaela she's probably spent the most time in the lab out of all of us. So maybe you could talk to some of the EE stuff, even clean rooms. But if you want to look in detail, and obviously if you're asking about the labs, you have some idea about what you're looking for, the Core Labs website on KAUST is a really good place to start.
Yeah, I would like to comment on that because, yeah, I spent, I think, most of the time on my master in a clean room. So it's like the lab to do nanofabrication. So what I can say about is that in my previous lab during my undergrad in Brazil, I was working in a lab that majority people was doing electronic stuff. So if we had to design a ship or something like this, so we would have a design, we would send to China. So when I arrive in China, people would do and then come back and then we have this to use it, right? So nowadays I do my design, I go back, I go down to the clean room, I do my device by myself. So here how it works is that you're gonna get trainings to all machines that you need to use and then you're gonna use them. And that's it. So I do everything. Literally, I come from the level 4 of the building, go to the level 0 to do this. So is that like accessible? So yeah, this is what I have to say, to be honest.
Maybe Zulma, did you want to comment on the labs at all? You don't have to.
Yes, I have one comment, and is that also every year or every 2 years, the lab in which you are working with, they will receive some resources. So if you need any equipment that you need for your research, you can always ask to your PI. And if he considers is something that you really need and that will be helpful, not only for your lab, but for other labs or in general for the university, they will purchase it. So it's also very nice that you have the option always to be updated in technology for your research.
And just commenting real quickly on what Rafaela and Zulma have said, we do get a lot of visiting students from a lot of other universities, be it Berkeley or Stanford or wherever it is. And one of the comments that they make to us is they're quite surprised at how much access our students have to the equipment and facilities. They're national lab level facilities, and ones that, you know, in a lot of other universities, they may have to, a student in their master's PhD may have to wait until 2 or 3 in the morning to get access to, whereas at KAUST, the students have access to that a little bit more easily than even some of the best universities. So.
Okay, thanks very much, Alex. We still have a few questions to go, but I still wanted to hear from Rafaela and Zulma. Can you tell us a little bit more about the exams? Are they more theoretical? Are they more practical? Can you give us maybe a couple of examples? What is it like over there at KAUST?
Well, it depends on what you're studying. In our case, it's very theoretical and practical. So you will usually receive some questions like numerical questions or theoretical questions. You can also have oral exams. In computer science, for example, most of the courses don't have exams or midterms, but only projects. So it depends mostly on the course. If the course is practical, so you will have practical lab or coding. If the course is more about theory, you will have like written traditional exams.
I would say that the standard way in general is that you're gonna have 2 exams at least. So you could have a middle exam, a middle term, and a final exam. So this is like in general, right? But then it's gonna depend on the professor what he or she wanna do. So there are some professors that is like not gonna have a final exam. We are gonna do a paper discussion. So everyone is gonna have to present a paper. Or if the nature of the course is more practical, so it can be like going to the lab and fabricating a device, for example. So this is going to depend a lot on the professor.
Okay, good to know. Of course, we received a couple of questions about COVID-19. Alex, can you tell us what are the measures that KAUST is taking in order to guarantee the safety? How are the classes functioning, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about the general stuff, and Rafael or Zulma might comment on what they're doing at the moment. I actually have to go soon because I have a scheduled COVID test tonight. We have frequent COVID tests here. I think some great news as well that I can share with everyone, and I think I saw on Rafaela's IG, she may have got it already, but we also have the vaccines that are arriving over the next few weeks, and everybody in the community is going, if they want to, receive a vaccine. But regardless of that, it's mandatory for all of us to have the COVID tests frequently. If there is a case where it does happen, we've had very, very few those students or staff or families go into quarantine. In terms of the actual classroom experience, I know a lot was done remotely, and then there has been social distancing, but maybe Zulma or Rafaela could talk about those measures in their lab. And just quickly before they do that, Anonymous, yes, we have a football field on campus.
More than one.
Okay, guys, do you want to add something to the COVID-19 circumstances as of right now?
I think that at the moment we are very lucky that the majority of people they're already going back to the labs. So of course that we're gonna have like some rules, like the lab is not gonna be in its full capacity. We're gonna work on shifts. There are some labs that are even doing like different groups. So just to avoid, for example, let's suppose that in the worst case, someone is positive and then the whole lab had contact with this person. But yeah, in majority, like we have to use masks, we keep social distance, but it's very good to be back to campus.
Zulma?
No, pretty much the same. Nothing to add about this. Yeah, and every lab they are being very responsible with social distancing, and as Alexander said, we have been tested several times. For the new people who arrived in KAUST, they will not get to their houses, but to different house, like how to say.
Quarantine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or depending of the country where they come from, they will be quarantined to keep the community safe. So I have felt pretty safe during the pandemic being here. All the measurements have been
That's great.
High level.
Thank you so much, Zulma. Alex, do you still want me to run the last 2 questions?
Yeah, guys, I guess we're come to the end, but we do have 2 polls that we'd like to get your answer on. We'd like to thank you again for joining us today. Really appreciate your time, and thank you to Zulma and Rafaela for sharing their Thursday evening, which in Saudi, if anyone doesn't know, our weekend is actually Friday and Saturday. So they've taken a pretty important night to spend some time and give you guys some more insight into KAUST. So I think, Lucy, have you launched?
Yes, so I'm asking our attendees if they will be applying to KAUST, and most of them have said yes for MS, and then a few for an internship, and then either PhD or MS PhD, and a few are still doubtful. So I invite you to contact KAUST and reach out to them and see if you still have questions. And then please let us know if you find that this webinar was useful. So if you click on 5, it's very useful. And then the rest of the numbers, let us know. Thank you for joining from Spain, from Latin America, and from Brazil. We're very glad. You will receive an email tomorrow with more information. So thank you very much, Alex, Zulma, and Rafaela, also our speakers from KAUST. It was a pleasure having you, and I hope to see you very soon. Okay. Yes, very useful webinar, Alex, from 4 to 5.
Who's this guy saying not useful?
I don't know. It's an anonymous.
I'm just kidding.
It's an anonymous.
Hopefully it was someone that knew about KAUST already, so it wasn't as useful for them. But
oh, I have a message here. We have an attendee from Canada, so that's awesome. I had to mention it. I couldn't forget Canada too.
Lucy, I would like to add just like something that I usually talk to my friends from Brazil when they're asking about KAUST or asking about professor or asking about projects. So it's like, guys, don't be afraid of sending an email to a professor that you would like to work with, or to send even like, if you just Google the name of the professor, it's gonna appear in the group. And then in the group, you're gonna see the students. So if you don't wanna talk directly to the professor, you can send an email to the student. Like, hey, Zulma, I saw you work with this professor. I wanted to know how is the experience. So you can talk to her and she might answer you. If you can go direct to the professor, you can ask direct to the professor. Of course, that you have to understand that professors are busy, so they might not answer you at the same time, but they are very, very helpful to answer you. In every case that I have contacted a professor, like before coming, they answer me, so they are very like helpful in this case. So don't be shy, don't be afraid. We have this thing like, I'm not gonna talk to the professor because I don't know, just try. And also, I remember that one of the questions was like, okay, but I am from like engineering and I wanna work on this for bioengineering. So it's very related to the project that they're gonna do. So maybe electrical engineering, but there is a professor in bio that is looking for someone that has electrical engineering experience, right? So yeah, just talk to people, send emails, because this is really, really very helpful.
Obrigada, Rafa. I think all our Brazilians attendees would have said that. And that's it. Anything else, Alex, Zulma, and Rafaela?
No, just thank everyone again, and Zulma and Rafaela, thank you for spending some time to speak to our perspectives.
Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, reach out also to the webinar at doccity.com. I also want to invite you for one meeting with Alex, if you want, on Tuesday, March 23rd. So send us an email and we will book 15 minutes with you. Thanks everyone again, and we hope to see you very soon.
Thank you.